Hey everyone, welcome to basically the bot I've been waiting on. This is Haslab's Victory Saber. Of course, it was a backing last year. We had to wait for a year to get it. That's the pain in the arse side, but I am over the moon with it. Now, with the actual bot, Haslab's not getting away with certain things. Like sort of, there's QC issues with a few things I've got, and unfortunately it's just one of those things. It's a limited run, and if I want to get them fixed, I've got to do it with some tricks I've done over the past, or basically buy third party parts. The good thing is, on the actual main bot, I've not had any. It's mostly to do with like the mini bots, and I'll show you in due course. This video will be put into sections because of how long it probably will be. There is a lot to go over. So, a backstory of Victory, if nobody knows. At the end of Season 4 in the West, it just cuts off in a 3 episode with the Autobots basically winning, and we never got anything until Beast Wars. In the East, however, the story continued. Now, I've went on about Headmasters before in previous videos. Headmasters is probably the true Season 4 if you take certain cut-off sections in Season 3 of the West before Optimus Prime comes back, and Headmasters in the East, and if you take it when Optimus Prime's gone. If you link the two together, it is a proper Season 4, and the continuation of the story works. Now, if you follow that up with Supermaster Godforce, which is all about the Pretenders, the Victory by far is probably then the second best thing it could have happened to the Transformers at this time. Victory goes back to robots taking on robots. The characters were amazing. Deathsaurus was an amazing bad guy, and StarSaber, being the leader of the Cybertronians at that time, is perfect heroic Cybertronian. He was fantastically written. They nailed it with this character, and that's how a lot of fans now, especially that era, now we can get those series, have basically hailed Victory. It's a great follow-up to that Headmaster story. Unfortunately, you do need one part of Supermaster Godforce, and I'll get to that eventually, why you need one part to follow on this story. But of course, with that story, with StarSaber trying to protect Earth against Deathsaurus, the series accumulated with so many brand new bots that came into it, and that's where a lot of the toys came over here, and we wondered, well, where were these toys? And I'm talking about likes of the little Transformers that was like a 2-pack and they combined together. You found that a lot in this series. That's where they appeared. Then you get Leo Caesar, Dino King, Road Caesar, stuff like that. All these strange characters that never appeared, and then they finally appear in Transformers Victory, and it's fantastic. The animation is incredible for its time. The sound effects, very Japanese, love it. Totally recommend watching it in the Japanese accent. I do not recommend the dub. I think there's more feeling to it, and that if you want to go back and revisit this bit in history of Transformers, the follow-up to that was, of course, Transformers Zone, where StarSaber makes an appearance and he gets injured, passes on the leadership duties to Atlas, and that was the end of basically the G1 universe altogether. That was it. But this was the bot I was waiting on. You've seen from my collection, I've got if you look at originals, I've only got the Power Master Optimus Prime, which is God Ginrai. But thankfully, over the time, Hasbro released Atlas. Well, Takara did. And then we got in the Power... Was it the Power of the Primes? No, it was Titan's Returns. We got Power Master Optimus Prime, which was a redo of the Ultra Magnus. But if you went to Carrow Road, you got God Ginrai and, of course, the Power Bomber armour. So, they two were in my collection, and I wanted this guy. Now, if I wanted a true StarSaber, I'm looking roughly about £400 to £500 boxed. I would not accept it any other way. And that's, of course, if I wanted to try and get Victory Leo, then I'm adding on maybe another £300. So the Haslab way of doing it was the cheaper option for me. In no means am I saying is it the right option, because you're backing yourself into a corner and then you're hoping you're going to hit all the tiers. That is basically Kickstarter. So you are hoping you hit all those tiers and you get everything. Because if I was stuck really just with the bot and Victory Leo and not with like sort of the add-ons you see, there would have been issues, in my opinion, in the sense I would have been disappointed I never got everything. So I'm happy at that, but this is a gamble you've got to put yourself on and hope that it pays off. I'm not going to go into the practice of Haslab. I don't think this is the video for it. Again, it's one of those things where I think it is a shady practice, but I don't see this bot coming out either way. The reason of that, would I see this flying off the shelves? And the answer is probably no. And where I've seen it happen now is you go into the stores and if you... brilliant talking sake. I've seen the last little while Menasor, Rodimus Prime and Metroplex, and the companies are dropping the price to try and sell the stock they've bought in. They cannot shift them. Now, is that a fact that people want these bots? No. Is it probably the price gauge? With inflation and stuff, that's a strong possibility. But I've got a feeling this guy would have been the exact same. And if you put him at the price of, say, £80 and then Victory Leo at 50, so you're 130, and then you buy the add-ons, no doubt, then you're looking about £150 roughly. If this was normal, I'd imagine. So paying the extra £30, which covered the postage and it all, because this came in a massive box, it eventually evens itself out if you work it out in British pounds. I don't know how that would work out in like South America or Canada, but in British pounds it eventually works itself out. But you're paying maybe an extra £20, so to speak. Is it worth it? Again, it's down to yourself, personal opinion. If you're willing to pay for it, that's it. I was willing to pay for it, so I've got to take that bullet. So it's one of those things. It's like, well, I paid for it, I've got to accept that's the way I went. But when you break down all costs, you're about £20 over, in British pounds at least, compared to if I imagine these were on the shelves. And then you put the add-ons on the shelf, and what do I mean by the add-ons? I mean like so the stand, the 2 mini bots, maybe the blast effects, and the victory cannon. Just put them on the shelf, and then you've got this free pack. It roughly works out the exact same. No doubt there would be a way where this would cost over £200. I would not put it past Hasbro. They've done it before. So let's get into the actual video, so to speak, now, and this is why these are all in time sections. So the issues I had, and I don't think I'm going to get this on the stand again. Getting Victory Saber in this mode with the Victory Leo StarSaber combined took a little bit. If I take off the V cannon just now, we'll come back to that. This took a little bit to get on and balance right. There is some issues with obviously weight distribution because Victory Saber has a massive gap there. So when StarSaber links up with Victory Leo, that's when that gap's filled. Unfortunately, that's when the weight goes in. And you can see it's quite wobbly. Now, I've got it standing, sitting, so to speak, kind of perfect. So I'm not touching it any further on that. But this mode was, of course, basically the ultimate transformation form when these two combined. And they basically powered each other up, and what you're seeing is like this battle jet that can really take on anything and destroy things. In the cartoon, it really was like the ultimate form of these two characters, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. The blast effects, this is one thing I wanted to get into because I genuinely forgot at the time when they announced this figure, was I forgot in that show the blast effects for the Cybertronians were green against the Destrons. And I was like, why the green? Why are they not going to be like sort of traditional yellow or orange? They were green in the show. So little nods like that, absolutely love. So this is kind of like the mode if you're wanting them transformed. It's kind of cool this way. It is kind of cool looking, but there is issues with it. The weight issues is the biggest problem that comes with it. So let's take off Victory Leo. I'm going to take them down from the stands now, and I'm going to start with Victory Leo and go through his transformation process into the lion. And here is Victory Leo. So to get him off StarSaber, I'll show that when I come to StarSaber. It was actually quite simple. But this is the mode when you're in transformation, is basically how it goes in. Victory Leo, you could say is kind of a triple changer. I don't think this jet mode is kind of a mode. It's really when it's combined, that's when you kind of like see the benefits to it. But it is what it is. He does this mode when he can fly, and then he combines the StarSaber. He's armour for StarSaber. He has his own robot mode, and of course his own transformation. He is, in fact, okay, this is where you need that little bit of Supermaster Godforce basically thrust into the storyline. He's basically the resurrection of God Rai. Okay, God Rai suffered damage, he died, but then was resurrected as Victory Leo. It is what it is, and there is no mention of the Pretenders. Okay. It's just, okay, that's it, it's done. So that's what it is. So this is basically God Rai. But it's a strange one. Like the resurrection and the stuff like that. But it is a cool character. Victory Leo is a cool character, and he's basically the only one that can destroy Leo Kaiser. Those combiners, he's the only one that can beat him. So he is such a strong character. But if we take away the stand, I'll let you look at him side on. So the V cannon can be placed on him, and that basically houses that if you're keeping them in transformation mode. You don't really need to put that on StarSaber. It can actually fit really nice on that, and it's really nice and snug. So if we take off the V cannon, and that'll just unclip off. And this is basically the mode. This is it. So transformation back into lion mode, okay? And it is extremely simple. So you can basically see the head's going to go there, so we'll just flip the head down, and it's on a double joint because you can twist this head round. So we'll just get that in there, and that's that locked in. Coming to the wings, and you're wanting to lift them. The reason being, if I zoom in and adjust, there's clips here on the elbows, and that's how you lock the wings in place, and they keep them from moving. So that's why you've got to do it this way. So we'll do that, and then we'll flip that arm back in. So he's got his paws out. Can fold up the wings. And that's that. Come to the back legs, and what you're doing is just twisting around like so, and then you're putting them back up like that. Quite an easy transformation into this mode. Come to the back bit. As you can see, this bit's down. Open them up. Just put them in. Lock everything back up. And come to the cannons. Twist them round. And there you go. There is Victory Leo in all his glory. I do love this bot. I've always wanted a proper Victory Leo. And to have now Victory Leo like this is just incredible. Now, is there issues with this bot? I'd say there's few. Try to get him stand perfect, as you can see. Try to distribute that weight. Can be a bit annoying, especially on the legs here, because you've got so many like double joints going in for the forearms and the elbows, then into the legs. It can be a bit of a pain, especially when you're trying to get them to stand. The transformation is very simple, but as you can see, look, I've just touched that, and then the weight is starting to push that back down. So is this a QC issue? Could it be the joints or just too light? I have no idea. It's one of those things where I'll never know. I just have to take it for what it is. But I am happy how he's turned out, how he looks. I love this bot. I've loved the character when I first seen Victory. So to have Victory Leo now, I'm over the moon. But I know there's issues, and mine's is basically in the legs, unfortunately. So let's now bring in the mini bots, and I'll quickly talk about them. And here is the mini bots. You've got Autobot Fire, that's what they've named them in the box, but in reality it's just Fire. And you've got Polly. Now, Polly is kind of like the sidekick to Jan in Victory, who is the human character. And here is where we run into a lot of issues as I just adjust the settings on my camera. There is a lot of issues with Polly, and I'm going to show you why. First off, I'll transform Fire. So, overall, he's okay. Or is it a she? Or is it the boat? It's a she, I can't remember. It's been how long since I watched that. But you can see where everything's hidden. It's just a stereotypical mini bot. Transform. Let's just move that out the way. Come to the legs. And you're just doing that. Here is the problem. These legs do not want to stay on. Now, I never got any of the other mini bots, and I think it was Siege or Airfries. There was one I wanted because I've got the original, and I never picked it up. Never really came out here, and I refused to pay over the odds for it. But I don't know if that issue continued, but this is the issue with mine. That's how bad the legs are. So you just bring down the arms like so, and that is it transformed. So let's put the leg back on, and it should just clip on. That is annoying, and that's why the last couple of days they've stayed in the box. This one is no difference. Poly is the exact same. And you're going to see why. So if I come to the legs first, okay, in the minute I do this, okay, there you go. So these are my QC issues. Again, I don't know if you've had any issues with their Fry's mini bots. If they've done this before, then okay, I kind of give or take, but I've paid that money and it's like, come on. Am I happier it's on these two than the big two? Yeah, but I'm still a bit pissed that the fact that it does it, whereas I'm wanting it to be good. So we'll put them back on in a second. Come to the arms and you're basically doing that, and then here is the tricky part, because this double hinge is so stiff that it felt like I broke them the first time I transformed it, and now the hinge is fine. But we'll put the legs back on, and there we go. So you see Polly quite a bit in Victory. He is kind of like that, a little annoying sidekick. And there you go. So these were the add-ons with the shield and I think the blast effects in tier 3, if I remember. So yeah. Again, it's one of those things. If I had any of the mini bots and they'd done the same from Air Fries, then I could probably expect it coming into this, but the fact that I wasn't expecting them, the legs just to easily come away. The fact that it's not a breakage, it is just basically a simple clip on. That's okay. It is still, however, very annoying that they do it. It is very annoying. Bring him back in Victory Leo now. Now we'll get him into robot mode before we go to StarSaber. So, come back to the legs, okay? And we're just going to close them up. And you can see there's a tab straight away. Hook that foot on. So, get them up. And there we go. We'll actually do that because this will be easier. And then what we're doing is twisting it all the way back round like that. Same again. So it's on that clip. Let it clip on. And then turn it back round. There we go. Come at the feet and there's just little pegs. Come at the feet and I'm going to use tweezers here just to bring out the foot. And you can see that's where the hinge is for basically turn them round. So now we can open them up and then come to the back here. And if I can get this down, because this is quite tight, slide the leg up, lock that knee in place, and then you can see there's a hole. Just line it up, and there's the leg in place. And we'll do the same again. And it's locked in. So legs are ready. Come to the arms, just move them down. These ones are quite self-explanatory, I think, for the arms. So you're basically just doing that. Twist them around, lock them in, and twist the hand back round. Doing the other side. Come to the head, come to the teeth first, move them to the side so they're like that. And then this panel, easiest way to do it I found is lift the head up. And if you get tweezers again, just to make life easier. There we go. And there is Victory Leo. And just try to get him to stand is a bit of a pain because you're wanting those legs just to sit just right. So, he looks cool. He really does. The only thing I don't like is, and I think everybody has this issue, is the chest plate. The chest plate, you can see there's like marks and a few dots where the paint's not went on. No doubt there's going to be a Toy Hacks set for this. There is stickers that come with it. I am not putting them on. I'm Toy Hacksing out these bad boys. So I imagine there's going to be a set that will cover this and protect it. So I'm not overly fussed. If you don't do Toy Hacks and you've got some of these issues, unfortunately, that's it. That's the way it's going to be. So we bring back in the V-Cannon. Okay. And he can hold that. It might be a bit heavy, but basically he's always carrying the V-Cannon sometimes. And we'll make him do that, because I'm used to Victory Leo with it. So movability, if we're looking at that type of deal, he's okay, he's not the greatest. He is very wobbly, as you've seen. The head, there's a lot of movement because of the transformation. The arms, again, a lot of movement. They can't go all the way around because of the wings. And with the legs, there's slight issues because these legs have got to be lined up just perfect when it's standing for it to stand straight on for mine. I don't know if everybody else is like this, but this is mine. But overall, for a Victory Leo, and I've been desperate for one, third party or the original, I'm happy I've got it. I'm over the moon I've got a Victory Leo. And he looks cool. He's one of my favourite characters, and then the fact that it was God Ginrai, who is one of my favourite characters, it makes it even better. So, now we move on to StarSaber. And there's a lot to go over. And here is, of course, StarSaber, the main thing I wanted. I'm not going to talk about this thing because that was a tier. In case you didn't know, that was a tier. Stand's okay. It's okay. It's probably a really good stand just for him. Like I said, I've had the issues at the start. So, StarSaber, the Supreme Commander of the Cybertronians. He is fantastic, and there's very little issues I've got. There is a few at the start I thought I was going to break them, but it was mostly the joints getting ready for the transformation. That was the only thing, QC wise. Apart from that, I've been really happy. I am really happy how this one turned out. But just so you're warned, especially during the transformation, it felt like parts were going to go, but they didn't, and I'll show you where. And it's mostly, I think everybody had the same issue. It's in the leg, a bit you've got to manoeuvre when you're transforming him. So, StarSaber, where do I start? Okay, StarSaber is basically like Polly and all them. He has a mini-bot. That's the way to class these ones. They're just like, they'd probably be Voyager size. But in the show, he isn't as big to start with. Basically, the suit when he becomes StarSaber is basically a battle mode, and like the rest of the jet combines to him. He is very parts former. So in this show, like, you had the Target Masters, then you had the Pretenders, how they work. The gimmick to this show was the brain power, and he's got the brain of courage, and the little brain would go into the chest of the Cybertrons, and that would activate the power. Then they could transform, they had all these abilities, and then of course StarSaber combined with this, and then he becomes whatever he is. The Destrons during it, their ability was chest attack, okay, and that's where they had either animals come out. Deathsaurus basically showed that, and and that's where all their weapons were housed. Again, during translations, depending, because I can make the joke, during translations of the show, if you watch it in Japanese, it is breast attack. So chest attack sounds a bit better, but in the show it was breast attack. Okay, so you can get your jokes in for all you want for that one. Okay, transformation. There is a few modes for this one. There's one I don't like, okay, and I'll get to the point why, because I don't remember it in the show, and there is one he did do in the show, and it is basically this mode, except Saber's basically on top of it. That's the way to describe it. But everything else, they nailed it. They nailed it. So he's very similar to the Masterpiece version, apart from one thing, which I was shocked that there wasn't a housing for this, but then when I seen where the housing was, I was like, cool, it works. So picking them up, we want to get this part off first, so there's like a little button here, but what we've got to do is, so things don't fall away, let's take off the shield and we'll take off his gun. Right, we'll flip him over, and you can see where everything's housed. It's actually quite noticeable where everything's housed. Flip these parts up first, come round here, and then we'll hold down that button, and out it comes. So here is the jet mode. Let's get the wings up, and there you go. There's Saber in all its glory. As you can see, this is basically the chest of StarSaber, and in there you can see the little head of courage, or the brain of courage. It's weird, and it goes into the chest. So transformation for this little guy. Okay, so first off, come to the front, and I'll pull back the camera. Take off the cone, and that's a weapon, so we're going to come back to that. You can fold up these parts straight away, and he's got parts where it's like, I've seen these before in other bots. Like, we've seen this like style so many times. So if we split the legs, and they should just open like this, come to this section, and you're just doing that, flipping them up, closing them in, and that should lock in place like so, and that's the way it goes. So it is fine in that. Then we can close it, and that hides that part. So same again, open up, move that leg, and we'll just bring it up. Get steady, close it, and then that's the lock. The lock's basically here. Then we come to the feet. Feet is down here, and I don't need tweezers for these, so that's the cool thing. Okay, so there you go, there's the little feet. You can come at the hands. I think I used tweezers for these, and I transformed it the first time. I think I did use tweezers, so we'll use tweezers again, just so I can get them out. And that's that. So now we've got to come to the back, flip this down, reveal the head, close that up, then come to this section here, and we'll get it ready. So bring up the head, and that's where that goes. So there's the brain of courage, and all you've got to do is take him out, and you see there's the face, and basically you're just flipping it up. That is it. Come around here, and we'll just do that. So that's the way you want them to look going in. And there's a little clip here. Okay, so I'm going to quickly do this, but basically it's just to lock that in without it going all over the place. And there you go. Close it up. And this is where everything starts to get tidied. I can move the camera all the way back because that figure is so small. Close in the wings. Let's get the arms up a little bit on that ball joint. There, and then we've got his gun. And there, folks, is Saber. So he does look cool. He does look cool. That is basically the size of all these bots. These are the things that you found. Like, they were the size. Then the brain went in, and then obviously the face comes up, and that's how these parts joined. Now, again, you can see the legs are okay. They're not the greatest. There is bend in them, and you've got those little tilts there in the ankles, but it's just trying to keep them steady. But sometimes you usually get a lot of the figures like this, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I think he looks cool. I think he does need a bit of decals to cover himself up in a few things, and then we will move on and get him combined. Let's go over a few things with the combination, okay? Because they put in a base mode. I don't remember the base mode in the show, but I do remember this. So there was one attack. Saber did jump up on his body, and he piloted the body like this, like a tank, flying. If I can find a clip, I will. I'll slap it in. But yes, this happened. I remember that clearly, and I don't think there was a way they could have done it for the toy, so they came up with a base mode. The base mode, it's okay. It's okay, but I'll show you how to do it, okay? As much as I don't like it. So let's remove the head. And that just sits on that. Then we're going to flip this part up and lock it in. Come round here. Now here is the part I was talking about. These are the parts here I was worried about when I was transforming this guy. Okay, so basically you unclip it there, and you've got a release there. Now you can see there's a hinge ever so slightly. If I move this, you'll see it better. That hinge is what I was worried about because of the way it worked. Now, some people, you could move it with just your fingers. I had to physically grip and do this. Okay? So that is one thing you're going to have to look out for. So let's move the arms back round that way. And come down here. These parts, this is the other thing. My one doesn't close completely unless Victory Saber is basically all combined. And then these close. You don't really see them, but just so you know, they won't completely close. So you come to the leg, flip them up. And that's that. And then you close there. We'll put the wing down. Same again. Come here. And you just, I'd say gently, just try and manoeuvre that arm out. There we go. Same again, just open that tab, move the leg out, close it, lock it, and then you can put it down. So that is basically the base mode. And then we bring in the shield, and I'm trying to remember how this part fits. So the back of the shield, remove this part, and then you see those little tabs. You're just tabbing We're just tabbing, but I think because of where I'm sitting this, it might not sit right, so unfortunately I'm going to have to lean against it. But I don't basically care, because I am never going to have this mode. Like, let's see if we can do it before I take it all away. So yeah, so it goes in like that, you can tab it in, and it's meant to sit like that, and Saber can stand on the back of it. I think that is basically because of how mine's is standing on these bits of card. It's the only thing I can think of, because I did manage to get it done. But this is that mode. It looks horrible. It is absolutely horrible. It is pointless, and it's just an extra way to show you, here's a third mode. There's not a third mode. This is just you opening the legs and turning the arms round. There's not a third mode. So, let's get those legs down. Like that. Beautiful clicking noises. Come at the bottom, and we will bring out the feet. If I can get this one. There we go. Lock it in, bring out more. Flip that down. Make sure that leg's clicked back in place. And then here's where the sword is housed. If I can do that. That goes into the leg. That I was really impressed with. Come to the arms. Flip them down. Now before I show the arms, this is one thing I've noticed. When you're clicking on these parts, these grey parts are meant to go over the red ones. So there is a QC issue here, and it looks like there's extra plastic. I can't get that one over. That one cannot get over without me snapping either that or that. So be warned, there is one there. So the arms, they're actually really simple. Just pull down this section. Voila. There we go. Just lock them in. Same again. Do that. Up, round. And there you go. And then you can come to the hands. They're just placed in there. And I'm going to use tweezers because it'll be easier. And we can have him open like that because that's him ready to get the rest of the body in. So, to finish him up, first we take Saber, take away the gun, and we'll take this. So, this section you pull down till it's about there. Now, we did see the sword can go in like that. I did see that, okay, and I've seen a lot of people putting the sword round like that. So, it's quite cool. There's two options. I like it like that because that's what I like to show. Make him hold the sword. So we've got the sword. We'll come to the shield in a minute. And it is basically annoying me now because now you can see the figure's slightly off, and I don't know how this is going to work with the final combination because I never really noticed that until today. So you get Saber, and basically you're just folding up the arms, and then you're locking them down like that. So then you come back down to the legs, and we're going to make sure these are all the way down. Close them up. And I'm hoping my light on top of my camera doesn't go out just yet. I'm going to have to get the other one because I have not charged these lights. So, arms down, like so. Then you can bring that up, twist these round. And there goes the light! There goes the light, everybody. We've caught in camera. So, we do the next best thing. We get an all light, and what we can do is change it. So, let's do this. So there you go. So you're wanting that, so you've got to open up a bit. I forgot you had to do that. And then they should clip in just there. Bring the arms down like that. So you're wanting them nice and tucked in. Fold back the wings here. Now, actually no. And I'm going to show you why. Because in the cartoon it's not like that. So then what you're doing is connecting the body in like that. I forgot with it, you had to slam it down just a little bit. So it's not just an easy put in, you've got to slam it in, so to speak. So now, because we've got this light in, actually know what, I'm going to take this light away. Now we've got the brightness fixed. We're going to move the camera up a section. And then we're going to zoom all the way over to his head. And that's where, of course, the helmet's going to go. Now, with the helmet, it's it's simple. So basically, move the antennas up. You can open them up if you want, like so. Move the faceplate down, and it doesn't lock in. It just kind of sits, and then you're putting it on like so. Keep it like that, and there you go, folks. We have got StarSaber, and this is where I love it. This is where I feel I've not wasted my money, because I love this figure. I love StarSaber, and that looks incredible. That looks fantastic. I'm over the moon with that. So next we're going to have to put the shield on. Now there's a few ways you can do the shield. There's a clip you can do, or you can just make them hold it. I've not tried the clip. Basically, you've got these sections here, right? And then you can just basically slide it on, so it's like that. But in the fairness of quickness, I'm just going to make him hold it. And there you go, folks. There is Victory StarSaber. I love it. There is, as you've seen, mine has got a few issues, in the sense I genuinely thought I was going to break that foot. You can clearly see it now. There is just a little bit of plastic. Now, when I'm going to get Victory Leo ready to combine, I'm going to check to see if I can move it slightly. I think this is a case of just sanding a part down. It's annoying. I'd never really noticed that till basically making this video. So that gives you a rough idea of what it looks like. But I'm over the moon. I love it. And time to get them all combined. Now let's get them combined into Victory Saber. Now this is where you'll see my bot start to flush out, especially down at the bottom. Well, now we know there's a QC issue, and thankfully we've caught in camera. So it's not perfect, okay? It's not perfect. It's a fixable thing I can do, but it's one of those things, it's just there and it will annoy me. But to be fair, when Deathsaurus arrives, I probably will have him in Victory Saber mode, so I probably won't touch it, but we'll wait. First off, let's remove the sword without making it ping, and then we'll take away the shield, because I'm not going to put the shield back on. So you come down to the feet, and basically you're closing them up, and that's basically what that section is meant to do. As you heard, flip them round, and that's where my one has the issue. So we're doing that, so StarSaber's basically ready like that. We'll put him on his back just now. So we're going to come back to Victory Leo. Let's take away the cannon, and we're going to move down his mask and hide his face. Now this section, you're basically just going in, and you can pull it away, and you can see where it clips on. Move the head in like so, you can make it line up. Put that in there like that just now. extend the wings, and you're wanting to do the exact same thing again. We'll move around the hands like that. And just close them up. So you're just wanting that to lock in. Back in there. And if we want it to be tidy, we can move the arm like that. So it's just a bit of the hand sticking out. That doesn't bother me in the grand scale of things. So again, we'll do the same. Flip the hand round. That one's a lot easier. Lock it down in place. And then I can just fix the arm like so. Come at the cannons, move them up, and turn them round. So you're wanting them like this. Okay, and that is the section there. It's going to clip on to the back of StarSaber in this section as well. So this will all clip on and house that section. So we're going to come to basically the feet. So you want to split the body. Straighten everything up, make sure everything's locked back in, move back up the little foot here, come down here, let's put the leg back in and we'll make sure it's secured. And this is where you've got to make sure the locking tab is correctly in. So you can see where it is and where that is. So we'll just make sure with mine. There we go. We had the click. Come here. Move up that section, and then this section is just basically turning on itself. So you can hold down this bit and then bring it back around like that. That's the easiest way I found it. Just doing a wee practice before it. And there you go. There's one foot. So what you want to make sure as well is this section here comes up, and this part here comes out as well. So you want the parts out for like everything locking in. So I think if I'm right, that's going to be the right foot. Yep. Same again, except there's a little different part here. So come to this section, we'll move this up. If I can get my nail in. You'll see this little red thing, just move it in, tab it out the way. Same again with the feet and the leg, just make sure this is all tabbed in. Yep, first time, like it when it's first time. And then we can just move that up, get this section out, turn it round. There we go. Move that section back in, it'll clip in. Now we can bring in StarSaber, and that little red part you've seen is going to fit in there, so it's going to sit like that. If I can put them down just for a second and slot it in, there we go. And you move that part up there just to house it, and that's that locked in. We'll do the same again. Make sure everything is lined up. There we go. Lock it in. Now we can stand him up, and he has got bigger. So I see an issue with mine. I'm just wanting to make sure that everything's okay. That's the reason I took it off camera. So mine's standing a lot better now. It's flushed. It's flushed. Because there was an issue with my leg. Turn it back round. Now, make sure this is all tabbed in nicely. Make sure it is. There we go. Okay. Let's bring back in Victory Leo. So that bit is going in there, and this tab's going in the bottom. So we'll tab them in first. And there we go, there's just a little part you've got to squeeze down on it. It's just annoying, but it is what it is. But here we go. There is Victory Saber. I'm going to put the V cannon on because you see that in so many episodes. I'm going to put the sword back on before we do the final close up. And there you go. There is Victory Saber in all its glory. So the V cannon basically houses like that. It is just basically a big cannon. And if I want to put in the blast effects, I can. He just looks so cool. He looks so cool. This is what I wanted. This is what I wanted in a character. Now, you've got the stand, and I've not really tried the stand holding them. And I think the way it's got to work is, if I can bring them back over, just so I can see where it clips in. Right, okay, so with the stand, you've got to take off this section, which is a bit for the plane. And there you go, that's him on the stand. I had to do it off camera because I genuinely didn't know where that part was going. But yeah, that's a big boy. That's a big boy. Let's bring in all the parts now. So we've got the shield, we've got the gun, we've got the two obnoxious mini bots that like to break, and of course we've got blast effects, which I'll put on for the final pictures. But there's one thing I wanted to finish this off with, because this is what I've always wanted to show with this figure. First off, let's bring in Atlas. Then finally, bring in one of my favourites, Godgun Rye, and I'm going to bring my camera up. That there, okay, is what I always wanted. I wanted the Takara bots showcased like this. This was what I always wanted, to be seen like this, and how these guys were kind of forgotten. They really were kind of forgotten, and I'm quite happy now they're not. They're coming back, albeit we had to do a Haslab thing. Again, it's either right or wrong. I'm not going into that debate. Not in the video. I like doing it offline, but not in the video. But to finish off the video, and now just sit here and looking at them, the three leaders, apart from Prime and Rodimus, ignoring that side, but looking at the Japanese side, which I adore. I love the Japanese side of Transformers. This is fantastic. Absolutely incredible. I hope this is one thing, okay? Because I missed out on Unicron, so I kind of hope they would do something down the line with that. Obviously they're not, but I would love to have seen, even if it was just StarSaber, get a release for people to pick up. It is a cool bot. There is a few issues. Mine, we've seen it on camera with the foot. And enjoy it for what it is. Like I said earlier in the video, do I think now, if this was launched likes of they two out in the market, I don't know. I don't know how it would do, because you can easily get a Diatlas and Sonic Bomber, etc. You can easily get them. God Rai with the Power Bomber armour, the God Bomber armour, because there's obviously the two versions. God Bomber armour, obviously you've got to pay a pretty penny. That's easy for a Scotsman to say. To get this, but you can still get it. Unfortunately, just now I've seen the scalping straight away for StarSaber, and people might pay for it. I don't agree with that. You could say Haslab scalped us. You'd have a good argument there. I wouldn't argue on that one. But overall, the main question is, do I feel like I got my money's worth after, like I said, when I broke it down into pounds, and then when you pay for postage? It's slightly over, yes, and I mean like 60-40. Okay, and the reason it's got that 40% is because I do feel everybody should be able to get this. I do feel the quality should have been better. I do feel that if you're going to have something like this, the actual quality checks in the warehouse would have been 10 times better than what it was. And it's not happened like that. There is a few people I know that have had problems with theirs, unfortunately. I've been okay. It's just that foot. Again, though, if I'm keeping it as in victory saber mode, I don't have that issue. That's the only bright side. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm over the moon. I got it. The box it came in is gigantic. Box art's is beautiful. There's not really much in the way I can say I hate. If you look at it like that, ignore the reasons behind the making of it. There's not a lot of hate with it. But I do wish that it was easier to get for people than just behind the paywall, in the sense of a Kickstarter. And that's what I'll say. But for the tiers and everything else, I got Deathsaurus is fully funded, all tiers, so he'll be next year. I'm happy I've got my victory lineup. That's what I wanted, because I love victory. And there's not much else I can say. There's not. I'm over the moon. I've got the Takara Legends right there in front of me. I finally have them. And I'm chuffed to bits. So, the Ultra Magnus video will be next. Because I wanted to make this. I was over the moon with the figure. So, everyone, thank you as always. And I will see you all after probably the longest Optimus Wilbur video. I'll see you back for a normal Optimus Wilbur video. Take care, everyone. Thank you for everyone to tune in today's video. If you want to make Baby Grimlock happy, why not hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. All new videos are always coming right here in Optimus Wilbur Reviews. If you'd like to follow me in any of my social media links, all the descriptions are in the description box below. And of course, as always, I cannot stress this enough, I wish to thank Cybertronic Spree for allowing me to use their song Cybertronic Warrior as the theme of this channel. Guys, this is an incredible band that does incredible covers, and recently just done an amazing album of the Transformers 1986 movie soundtrack. Please follow them and all their social media links. I have every description in the description box below. Please check them out, and as always, Transformer fans, till all are one.